so much for joining us on Morning Ride on Delta Television, the People's Pride. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of Delta Broadcasting Service (DBS) Asaba, I am Blessing Usiabada, wishing you a happy New Year 2026. Yes, the year 2025 came and now it is gone. And today we step into a brand new week, a fresh month, and a whole year. We have 360 days left in this year. It is still a brand new year. Today is the fifth day in the month of January 2026. All things they say will pass away and all things will become new. So this is a brand new year for us. Now, I don't know how 2025 was for you, but we have to be grateful that we have another opportunity, a brand new year, to make things happen for us. I want you to start this week with a mindset of positivity, a mindset of determination, and a growth mindset. Okay? Don't blame the economy anymore. Don't blame people around you, because oftentimes we give excuses for why we've not been able to achieve one goal or the other. Enough of the blame game. Now look at the things that you can change. Look at the things that you can do in this year 2026. Focus on growth as we begin the year 2026. Once again, welcome to Monday's edition of Morning Ride on Delta Television. This morning, we're going to bring you our trending stories, we'll bring you newspaper analysis, and of course, our interview segment. So we'll kickstart with our trending stories today. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, has announced plans to withdraw its services nationwide from January 12, 2026, over the federal government's failure to fully implement agreement on doctors' welfare. The decision was reached at an extraordinary National Executive Council (ENEC) meeting held on January 2, 2026, and was disclosed in a statement shared on X by the association's president, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman. According to the resolution, NAD will resume its total and indefinite clinical services TICS 2.0 tagged "No Implementation, No Going Back" from midnight on January 12, 2026. The move follows the government's failure to meet a 4-week ultimatum issued on November 28 after the association suspended its 29 days strike. As part of preparations for the industrial action, NAD directed presidents of its 91 centers nationwide to convene Congress meetings and hold press conferences within the next 7 days. The association also announced a series of protests to accompany the strike. Dr. Suleiman said the strike would only be suspended after the full implementation of the association's minimum demands. These include the reinstatement of the FTH Lokoja 5, payment of promotion and salary arrears, full implementation of the professional allowance table with arrears captured in the 2026 budget, and the reintroduction of the specialist allowance. Other demands include official clarification on entry-level and skipping issues by the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, resolution of House officers' salary delays and arrears with the issuance of a pay advisory, recategorization and issuance of membership certificates after Part 1 by the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, commencement of LUCOM and work hours regulation committees, and the resumption and timely conclusion of the collective bargaining agreement process. Well, that is the first trending story for today. Today is just January 5, and a few days from now, January 12, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors will be going on a nationwide strike if the federal government does not listen to them and meets its demand. Now, this planned nationwide withdrawal of services by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors once again exposes the fragile state of Nigeria's healthcare system and the long-standing tensions between medical professionals and the federal government. Now, the heart of the issue is not just remuneration, but trust and governance, because we have seen since last year, for example, we saw the NMA, the NAD, holding meetings, declaring strike actions, and the federal government calling them for meetings, and after consultations with the federal government, they decide to trust the federal government, call off the strike, and go back to work. And yet, here they are still demanding for the same thing they've been demanding for years. Now, the doctors had previously suspended a 29-day strike after assurances were given, including a 4-week ultimatum. Yet, the failure to implement agreed terms has reinforced the perception of government insincerity, not just in the healthcare sector. We've seen it across all sectors, even the education sector, even with the Labour Congress as well. We need government to be sincere. Can you meet these demands? If you can, when you call them for meetings, for your closed-door meetings, tell them the truth. Tell them the state of things. Tell them what you can do. Tell them what you cannot do. Let everything be discussed and resolutions made. And once they call off the strike, ensure you play your own part. Ensure you meet the demands of the resident doctors. Now, if you look at the demands listed by NAJ, it largely relates to welfare, career progression, and structural reforms within the health sector. Now, the consequences of an indefinite strike, if the federal government doesn't listen this time, imagine starting a new year with a strike action. And not just in any sector, but the healthcare sector that we know is very, very important. So these demands are not, if you look at the demands, for me, it's not something that the federal government cannot do. I feel it's something that they should look into and see how they can begin to meet those demands listed by NAD. Now, the consequences, if the federal government doesn't listen and they go ahead to embark on this strike, the consequences of an indefinite strike are far-reaching. Public hospitals, which serve the majority of Nigerians, will be severely affected, placing lives at risk and deepening public frustration, because this strike is not just for some hospitals. All hospitals around the country, the 91 centers in Nigeria, would fully embark on this strike. So public health hospitals especially, public hospitals will bear the brunt. The patients that go to public hospitals, which we know majority of Nigerians patronize public hospitals, they will bear the brunt of this indefinite strike. This situation reflects a broader pattern. When agreements with labor unions are reached but not fully honored. I've mentioned that before, and it leads to reoccurring industrial actions. We had that last year, 2025. We've been having it for years, and imagine beginning this year, 2026, with an industrial action by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. We just hope that the government will be able to reach out to them before January 12th, because the strike, the indefinite strike, will kick off from midnight January 12th, and we don't want that to happen because the year is just beginning, and Nigerians need to be able to access healthcare services in our public and our private hospitals as well. Moving on, let's move to a second trending story this morning. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has reportedly been captured and flown out of Venezuela following a large-scale U.S. military strike on the capital, Caracas, according to an announcement by U.S. President Donald Trump. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also informed a GOP senator that Maduro is expected to stand trial in the United States. Meanwhile, Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez stated that the government is currently unaware of the whereabouts of President Maduro and First Lady Celia Flores. She added that the U.S. attack resulted in the deaths of government officials, military personnel, and civilians across the country. Now, this is, we saw the U.S. giving Nigeria a Christmas present with the airstrike that happened in Sokoto. But now, this is like a New Year gift to Venezuela. Well, joining me in the studio this morning, I have with me my co-anchor, Chizi Awuno. Good morning, Chizi.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Good morning.
Welcome and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Okay,
Yes.
I think this is the first time we're seeing this year, yeah?
Yes, it's the first Monday.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. All right, just like I said, U.S. President Donald Trump, we got a New Year gift from him. We are not in Venezuela though, but the world, anything that concerns the U.S., the world knows about it, the world watches it. So we've been watching what's been happening in Venezuela, the reported capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro by U.S. forces. Well, there have been conflicting narratives from Washington and from the capital of Venezuela, Caracas. And from Washington, President Donald Trump said it was a brilliant operation, but there are some stakeholders in Venezuela that have said that he is what the U.S. president did is against international laws. They're also claiming that some civilians lost their lives during this operation.
Right.
But the president of the U.S. is still standing by.
I think they said some government officials
yes.
as well and military personnel.
Yes. The United States they have their reasons for capturing Maduro. Well, they said he has been detained and he will face trial. But the Venezuelan authorities are still saying that they are unaware of his whereabouts, that they don't know where he is, and they are accusing the U.S. government, like I said earlier, they are accusing him of widespread casualties. Both him, the president of Venezuela, and his wife, they've been captured by the U.S. president. Well, we wait. We're still waiting how this will play out. He's going to face trial, so we want to know what his offenses are, and want to know how the administration of Venezuela would move, who's going to take over, and because I'm concerned about the people of Venezuela.
Yes.
Imagine if that happened in Nigeria. Yes, if that happened in Nigeria, you know that there will be chaos, speculations will be everywhere, people will be worried.
Yes.
So I just hope that people are safe, and the change, or would I say the changeover now? Is it change of our government or handover of government? Whoever's going to take over will be smooth, and
change of power.
Change of power, it will be smooth, and things will go back to normal in Venezuela, because it's just the beginning of the year. I don't think any country wants to go through such chaos. But let's just watch the U.S. President Donald Trump. Let's see what he's doing. And then there've also been accusations. Some people are accusing him that he's targeting the crude oil in Venezuela, but he's saying that's not it. That's not why they're after Venezuela. But we'll watch. We'll see. During our interview segment, we're going to also address this, but let's just leave it and move on to the next story.
Okay, our next story here has Canada on the spotlight. It says Canada deported 366 Nigerians between January and October 2025 as part of an intensified immigration enforcement crackdown. Official data from Canada Border Service Agency CBSA removal programs further revealed that 974 Nigerians are currently listed under removal in progress and awaiting deportation. Figures updated on November 25, 2025 show that Nigeria ranked 9th among the top 10 nationalities affected by deportation from Canada. According to data, about 83% of those removed are failed refugee claimants whose asylum application were denied, while criminality accounts for approximately 4% of the deportation. Now, to strengthen enforcement, the Canadian government has allocated an additional $30.5 million over a 3-year period of boost removal operations, alongside a $1.3 billion commitment to enhance border security nationwide. I don't know how to feel about this story, if to say it's a sad one or if to say it's a good one, because I know that if Nigeria was so good, a lot of Nigerians would want to travel out. So I think the first word to use is that this is an embarrassing development. If the country was so good, a lot of people who want to travel out, that's one. And then there are good Nigerians who are doing very well in diaspora, but there are still some who are illegal migrants roaming about in different countries just because they don't want to return to Nigeria. They'll keep roaming about. I think there was a time someone said they went for this pilgrimage, and some persons were missing. Not missing because they were kidnapped, missing because they chose to run away and start a new life, in that country. And I really think that this should also say something to the Nigerian government that it's time where we need to intentionally work and make the country habitable for human beings, because some persons, I have friends in the United Kingdom, sorry, that will tell you that this country is not favorable to Nigerians, so but would rather stay in this hell than to come back to Nigeria, because this hell is better than Nigeria. So I really think that it's a new year, and it's good that this story has come to the limelight. It's good that this story has come to the limelight. So I think the Nigerian government should try to do something about it. And if you go outside the country and you know that you are an illegal migrant, please don't wait to be shamed. Don't wait to be embarrassed. Don't wait to do the work of shame. Just return back to your country. Return back to your country. It's the best.
Yeah.
You were just talking about health workers going on strike,
Yes.
and I know like 4 persons who are waiting surgery. Now, if doctors are on strike, that surgery won't hold. Now, tell me how people will not be discouraged to stay in Nigeria, and if they have a means, they will not travel outside the country and never come back. In fact, I have an auntie that says if she dies, they should not return her body to Nigeria. That's how sad she is about Nigeria, except Nigeria gets better. So yeah, that's it from me.
Well, if you look at the number of Nigerians that were deported from Canada back to Nigeria over 10 months, right? It's over 10 months.
Between January and October, yes, 10 months.
It's disturbing.
Yes.
It raises social and diplomatic concerns. Like you rightly said, for Nigeria, this trend points to deeper issues such as economic hardship, insecurity, and limited opportunities that push citizens to seek refuge abroad, sometimes through irregular channels,
Yes.
because some of them were deported because of their residency, some of them for crimes and all of that. So the country, Nigeria, we need to look at these issues. We need to look at the economy. We need to look at the opportunities. What opportunities do we have for young people? You see that it's more of young people and professionals who want to leave the country. NAD is going on strike now. Why are they going on strike? Welfare issues and career progression. So if I
Something they've been talking about for a long time.
If I go to medical school, I started to become a doctor, and when I graduate, I get a job, and I'm not progressing in my career, I won't be happy.
Yeah.
If I can't take a good pay home, I will not be happy. Next thing, I begin to look for how to travel out of the country, how to go to Canada, and Canada seems to be a country where Nigerians, yes, the number of Nigerians who want to go to Canada is quite high, and their policies are not as strict as the US or the UK. So it's really disturbing, really, and it's high time our federal government really look at this. And also, when we talk about migration, I think Nigerians should learn about migration laws,
Yes.
because most of them don't know anything about these countries they're traveling to. They don't study the migration laws.
They just
So
want to travel.
You go through the wrong channels, you get into the country, and when you get there, you begin to hide,
Yes.
And that's why I know that the country is not so good. You made mentions of your friends and people who have made statements like, don't bring me back if I die. In fact, if I'm suffering, that I'd rather suffer there than come back to Nigeria.
Yeah.
So I know that it's because of the way the country is.
True.
But I don't know for other people. For me, I'd rather be a bona fide citizen of my country
And make it work
than
here.
go to another country and be a second-class citizen, maybe
Yes.
even a third-class citizen, because the way they look at Africans.
And probably even face racism.
Yes,
Yes.
not probably. You will face racism,
Yes.
and you'll be a second-class citizen. You would never feel safe.
Yes.
When you see the police, you're just scared. You never can tell what will happen.
Yes.
Because you're scared of Nigerians, innocent Africans, now not even Nigerians, Africans going through police brutality.
Yeah.
So I felt
You will never feel at home. Yes.
so Nigerians really need to know about migration laws. We need to study migration laws of other countries. We need to have a better understanding of what it is to travel abroad. And we need consular support as well. We need the country to be better, I will harp on that. The federal government needs to work on making the country safe, making the country conducive for people to stay and for professionals to practice their professions and be happy. For Canada, the policy reflects a balancing act between border control, humanitarian obligations, and public confidence in its immigration system. They know their country, they know what's best for their country, just as Donald Trump is, coming up with these restrictions.
Yeah.
He is the president of the United States, so he has to put their interest first.
Yes.
You can't blame him.
Yes.
Here in Nigeria, we put our interest first. So every country should do the same.
Yes.
Just the way US, Canada, or the UK, other countries are, making sure that their country is safe for their citizens. Nigeria should make sure our country is safe. Our country is safe too. Our borders should be secured. We shouldn't have people from different places
Just strolling in.
Lake Chad and other neighboring countries coming into the country and making it unsafe for Nigerians. So every country should do what's best for their country. I won't blame them if they deport
No, I don't blame them
Nigerians
at all.
because they have to do what they have to do.
What's
So the
best.
federal government should work on that. Let's move on to our next story. I think that's the last story for today, right?
No.
Okay. The fourth story for today. The House of Representatives has released the four tax reform acts recently signed into law by President Bola Tinubu following public controversy over alleged alterations to Nigeria's tax laws. The move follows concerns raised during plenary over discrepancies between versions of the tax laws circulating in the public domain and acts as passed by the National Assembly. Consequently, the Speaker of the House, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, in concurrence with Senate President Godswill Akpabio, on Saturday, directed the immediate release of the certified true copies of the laws. The directive includes the publication of the endorsement and presidential asset pages to follow or to allow for public reference and verification. The released legislations are Nigerian Tax Act 2025, Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025, National Revenue Service Establishment Act 2025, Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act 2025. The controversy arose during plenary when a lawmaker representing Sokoto, Abdulsamad Dasuki, raised a point of privilege. He drew the attention of the House to what he described as inconsistencies between some versions of the newly enacted tax laws in circulation and the text debated and approved by the National Assembly. Honorable Dasuki warned that the continued circulation of such versions, if not addressed, could undermine public confidence in the legislative process and erode the integrity of the laws. Now, this story has been trending since last year. I have a major concern on this issue, on this story.
Me too.
The tax laws have been implemented. It started from January, the 1st of January,
First of
New Year's Day,
January,
the 1st of January 2026. Yet, this matter is still in the House of Representatives. The committee has been set up. The committee is not yet done with investigations because as at Saturday, that's when the House of Representatives said the copies, true copies, should be released to the public.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the tax acts have been implemented on the 1st of January.
Yes.
So how
Have we
is
been
it
working
possible
with the authenticated
for
one?
we don't even know if it is true or
Mhm.
not, because investigations will be carried out and then they will determine if it was true that there are altercations, there are inconsistencies and all of that. And that's why they're releasing it to the public so that the public can look at both copies and see if indeed there are inconsistencies in the tax laws that have been trending or that are everywhere. My problem is I don't think we should have implemented the tax laws
Just
first.
yet.
We shouldn't have. The federal government should have waited until investigations have been concluded. The House of Representatives comes out to say, okay, yes, this is it. This is the tax laws that we passed into law before implementation of the tax laws. Many analysts have argued. People are still arguing. Even NAD came out to say that. Not NAD, the NMA came out to say that the new tax laws will increase medical services For
Yes.
Nigerians, Nigerians
Yes.
may not be able to access
Yes.
medical services because if these hospitals are taxed, if they have taxes and levies, what do you
Yes.
expect them to do?
And we also
They are-
talked about
yes, the
aviation.
price of their services will go up.
Yes.
So many people are still, many Nigerians we don't even understand. Many people don't understand what the tax laws are yet.
Yes.
But the tax
Or if
laws
we are ready for it.
have been implemented. It is quite something we should really look at. But the decision by the House of Representatives to release the certified true copies of the newly enacted tax reform laws, it's a significant step towards transparency and accountability. But they should have waited until investigations are concluded. Well, we've had controversy. Like I said, we've had controversy surrounding alleged alterations exposed by public distrust and risk of misinformation, undermining confidence in major economic reforms. Well, by making these versions available, lawmakers, the public, Nigerians can really look at it and make sure that due process were followed. So let's just see how this will go.
Listen, I'm really concerned about this tax reform law, and I'll tell you why. Since I started talking about, as you said, this issue has been on since last year. And I'm sure you will not be surprised to know that a lot of Nigerians don't even understand what it is.
They don't know.
So no sensitization has gone on
NOA.
to say, oh, this is how it's going to happen. This is how, the only thing that Nigerians know is that if you don't put a good narration in your...
That is it. It is not true. That is not true. And that's why we really need to study the tax laws.
Yes.
And Nigerian, or the National Orientation Agency, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, they have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
They have to sensitize
and
educate Nigerians about the tax laws, because the rumors I've been hearing, the misinformation,
the narrations I've seen,
Lord,
the narrations I've seen. In fact, I saw a narration.
Nigerians are panicking.
Nigerians are panicking. I saw a narration yesterday that said. A narration yesterday that said, okay, so he sent somebody 2K. So a lot of persons say, oh, if you send money and you don't narrate it properly, you'll be deducted ahead. They will read tax. So this person says he begged me for 2K. Say in one shop, I beg, don't collect tax. Different narrations going on, and that's not what the tax law.
And that is what we need to read. We need to read the tax laws.
We need to read. Sensitization also need to go on, because there's something they say that when you put something in the book, a black man will not read it. So
it's not nice.
I think if it's not nice, we need to change. We need to be intentional about having this reading habit. But at the same time, we need our officials to come out. Do something like what myself and Blessing we are doing right now. Sit down, sensitize people. You can even go into the marketplaces, because trust me, the market is where the most rumors spread. Go into the marketplaces, do sensitization, let them know. And then last year as well, myself and Blessing, we were watching keenly to see how this would end. We are not hearing any prosecution. We are not hearing that anybody was brought to book to it. So
because investigations have not been carried out. Investigations have not been concluded, rather.
So if investigation has not been concluded, then we should not be using it. It should not be running now.
That's why I said the tax law should have not been implemented if investigations have not been concluded. Because the legislature has to ensure that such a thing does not happen again. Because when you pass something into law, it is law. It should not be changed. It should not be altered. Nothing should be subtracted. Nothing should be added to it. It is law. It has been passed by the House. It has been passed by the House. So, like you said, who was responsible? That's if investigations are concluded and it's true. Who was responsible for that alteration? We need to find out. We need to know exactly what happened.
Okay, now you came out to say NMA came out to say if this is implemented, it means that the healthcare services and the money they'll be collecting will go up. A lot of Nigerians can't even, the moment you tell them surgery, they will not return to the hospital again. They will go and go to bone setters, people who don't even know the job, because they'll feel like it's cheaper. And just last week, we also came out to say that the aviation ministry, the aviation sector will be affected by this, because flight fare will also go up. So what is the aim of this?
The truth
What
is,
are we getting in return?
Yeah, the truth is the federal government keep, they've been since last year even to the beginning of this year. We've had spokespersons, we've had the chairman of the policy. I can't remember the agency now. Come out to say that Nigerians, low income earners, those people who earn below a million naira
Will not be affected.
a year yearly,
Yeah.
will not be affected. The I don't want to use the word the poor people, but the average Nigerian may not pay tax, or as their tax will not be as high as companies, and the tax is targeting the well-to-do people in Nigeria. That's the wealthy, those who have companies. That's what it keeps telling us. That's what the federal government keeps saying.
Does that also
it's
apply to health?
No, hold on. They keep saying it. Low-income earners will be exempted, or they will not even pay tax that so much. They keep saying that, but like you said, the aviation sector have come out to say if they are taxed, airfares will go up,
Yes.
which means it will affect Nigerians. It will affect the low-income earners.
Yes.
NMA has come out to say if we are taxed, medical services will go up. Who goes to the hospital more? Of course, the rich people don't go to the hospitals in Nigeria.
go
They fly
outside
out,
the
they go to
country,
other
yes.
countries. The
Yes.
president doesn't use our Nigerian hospitals, so he wouldn't even understand that healthcare services have increased. So one way or the other, it's going to affect every Nigerian.
Yes.
So the federal government really need to look at this, but it has been implemented. It was implemented on the 1st of January.
It can be
2026.
re-implemented.
So what can we say? But we're still waiting for the conclusion of that committee, that investigation, and that's why they released the copies. Kudos to them for releasing the true copies.
Yes.
We're going to go through it and we're going to see if indeed there are inconsistencies and
Yes.
discrepancies in the law. So make sure you get copies of it. I don't know how you're going to access it now, but get it, read it, and understand what the tax laws are, so that you don't make
And
funny
rumors.
narrations when you are sending money to people.
Exactly.
Let's move on.
All right, our final story. Let's come back home to Delta State. Now it says the Delta State Police Command has successfully restored order in Asaba following attempts by hoodlums to disrupt the New Year celebrations. In a coordinated security operation, 43 suspects were arrested, while items recovered included 25 vehicles, 8 tricycles, fireworks, hard drugs, and other dangerous objects. The suspects are currently in police custody as investigations continue, after which they will be charged to court accordingly. Kudos to the Delta State government. Kudos. The Delta State government have been known over the years to be very protective of her people, which is very okay. I was privileged to be outside on the 1st of January, like actually outside at night, and I won't even lie to you. There were hoodlums on the roads. Should I say alleged hoodlums? Because when you see the movement of people, of some persons, you just might not feel safe. I know that bikes have been banned in the capital city, but trust me, that night, bikes were everywhere. Everywhere. At about 1 a.m., you could see bikes. From 9, you could see bikes. And I feel like rules are rules, laws are laws. If they say don't come, don't get on the road at that time, then don't. And you could see that a lot of these persons were intoxicated, they were high, and there's this particular road, Mariam Babangida, we saw a lot of bikes there, and I said, oh, these people are celebrating New Year. And my husband said something that, oh, some of these persons are not really celebrating New Year. They're just moving to and fro, seeing, looking for who is vulnerable, who they can attack. And I'm really happy that the police command, they swung into action and they were very active, if I should put it that way. And I really hope that other states, had same testimonies as well, because some persons turned the celebration into something else. Even Christmas Day is not your birthday, but you are getting high unnecessarily. Why exactly? So yes, it's kudos to the Delta State government, and yeah, we cannot wait for them to be charged and see how this ends. And I want to say that the police command in Delta State, they are really doing a great job. Like, even social media can attest to it that they are doing an intentional and a meticulous job. A person like Bright Edafe, who has come under public scrutiny a lot of times, but you can see him still being intentional about his job. He will come out. Kudos, kudos. I just have to say kudos to the Delta State government.
Yes, the restoration of order in Asaba is really commendable.
Yes.
The Delta State Police Command, kudos to them. Well done. Like you rightly said, when it comes to security, Delta State is one of the most peaceful states in the country. Asaba is one of the most peaceful cities, capital cities we have in Nigeria. So yes, we need to give commendation to the Delta State Police Command. Now to what's been happening, over 40 persons were arrested. It's a brand new year, and you chose to start the year with criminalities. I don't understand young people, the youth, and people who indulge in crimes.
How they don't think before they act.
Exactly, at the beginning of the year. And so there are issues that we really need to pay attention to. Yes, I know that it's a new year and people want to celebrate, people want to go out, have fun. But then the issue of armed robbery, hard drugs, it's something else. In Asaba, I think the Delta State Police Command needs to do more, because now we have drug cartels.
Raiding,
they need to do more to raid and to fish out those behind, the sales of hard drugs in Asaba and other parts of Delta State. They do it in broad daylight. They're not even scared of security agents anymore. You see them in different corners in Asaba selling drugs to young people. And the funny thing is, when you look at those persons selling the drugs, they're not high. They're not intoxicated by
No, they
drugs.
don't even. They might not even be taking it.
They might not even be taking these drugs, but they're selling it to our youth. They're selling it to our children. So a lot more has to be done.
Listen, the issue of drugs in Delta State is a ticking time bomb.
Yes. In Delta State, in Edo State, neighboring states, we really need to make sure that we curb it. Because hard drugs push people into crime, push people to do dangerous things. Last year we had reports of their children murdering their parents, boyfriends murdering their girlfriends. We don't want such stories in 2026. And if we don't want such stories, then the police, they have to do more. We commend them for the ones they've done, but they have to really do more. You talked about New Year's Eve into the new year, right? I was on duty New Year's Day, and when the driver came to pick me, we had to go through Interval. Now I can't count how many police vans and police officers I saw there. I was like, what's happening? Why are we having so many police officers and police vans at the Interval roundabout? And the driver said, I don't even know what happened last night, that it was something else, that they had 1 million fireworks display at Interval. I said, okay, that's nice, celebrate the new year, it's wonderful. He said it's wonderful, but that the way the youth go about it is terrifying. And like you said, or like your husband said, not everybody who's assembled there came with the intention to celebrate. Some came to cause harm to other celebrants. Some came with the intention to steal. Some came with the intention to rob people. So it's really not nice when we are celebrating, and instead of celebrating, you're thinking of how to wreak havoc in a certain place.
I just want to say that on another lighter note, I think that we need more psychiatrists, because some persons will tell you that the reason why they go into drugs is because of depression, and some other persons will tell you that the government is not going well, so what they're supposed to be getting, they are not getting it. Towards the end of last year, I had a classmate who we all assembled, other classmates, we all assembled together to try to help her to get out of the slum, a place where they sell drugs. Now, this story is very sad to me, because I know how bright this girl was when we were in school. I know how when you ask her, she can tell you where she wants to be in 10 years, what she wants to do in the next 5 years. But Today I can't say that was her story because she ended up going into drugs, um, went into drugs, gave birth to two kids for the slum king, who is also into selling drugs.
Yeah, so
and
it's
when
really
we asked her, yes, when we asked her, all she just had to say was frustration. When she came out, she didn't get a job, whatever she was putting her hands to do. So I think we need psychiatry, and Nigerians should start knowing that you don't have to be mad to see a psychiatrist. If things are not going well with you and you tell it to God and you still feel frustrated, please go see a psychiatrist.
Yes,
to be
that
checked.
is just. I wouldn't want to downplay it.
Yes.
To say that depression is not one of the reasons why people go into drugs.
Yeah.
Yes, we have that, and that's why we need to pay attention to our mental health.
Yes.
You need to have a good community, a solid community of friends, community
Right.
of sisters. If you're a woman, have sisterhood.
Yes.
Have people you can talk to. If you're a man, have the brotherhood. Have people you can talk to. That's
Yes.
good. But when we talk about drugs, we also know that peer pressure.
Peer pressure, yes.
The desire to want to belong, want to explore, those are the things that push people into hard drugs, and really it's terrible, and we should say no to that. Now, beyond law enforcement, we've praised the Delta State Police Command for the arrest and restoring order in Asaba. Now, beyond law enforcement, we need to know that we all play a part in restoring peace,
Very true.
sanity, and order in our society. So we need community policing. The federal government has been talking over time, state police, community policing, we're yet to see it. So we need community policing. We also need intelligence gathering, and that's what we keep saying. When you see something, you say something around your environment. When you see mysterious movement, suspicious movement, say something. Call the security agencies, call them, inform the police, right? We have a role to play. You have a role to play, I have a role to play. So intelligence gathering is very, very important. We have to put hands together to fight crime, right? The police cannot do it all. The military cannot do it all. We
Right.
have a role to play. So let's say something in the year 2026 when you see something going wrong. All right, that's where we'll wrap up trending stories for
Right.
today. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll have our interview segment. Please stay tuned.